Hi, welcome to Sugar Free. This is an all signs love reading. I've decided with this one, I'm going to try and actually keep it a bit like sweet and not all like grim. So, oops, look, it's all falling apart already. It's not my natural style, but I'll give it a go. Let's see how it goes. Right, I've got here, this one is the Major Arcana of the Rider-Waite, all shuffled. This one is the Major Arcana of the ancient Italian tarot. Ditto reader shuffling. This is, I think I've got the suits in the right order. This is the Minor Arcana of the Rider-Waite, split into its suits. So what I'm going to do is pull 3 Major Arcana here and then clarify each of those Major Arcana with one from each suit of the Minor Arcana. That's how I do the readings. So let's dive straight in. Yeah, I'll try and keep it a little bit sweet because, yeah, in the end, like big picture, and like even picture bigger than we can imagine, it is all love in the end. So I'm going to try and reflect that in this reading, but it might be tricky because, you know, the way we do love is so kind of bound up in our quest for power, our wish to feel secure and sort of in control and in charge of our lives. And sometimes that sort of bleeds into wanting to be in charge of events and other people. Even if one of the ways we want to be in charge is to not be seen to be in charge or not be seen to be the kind of person who wants to be in charge. It's about control. You know, we're funny creatures. We like excitement and the unknown, but we also kind of need to know where we are, like where the nest is, and like who gets admittance and who doesn't. So let's have a look at that. I mean, really, we're just all trying to be happy, you know. Speaking as a Buddhist, I really do try to remember that no matter how shittily people can behave, we can behave towards each other. Ultimately, all sentient beings just want to be happy. And we want to, I'm going to keep that one. We want to move away from discomfort and pain of all sorts and any sort. We want to move away from that towards a feeling of well-being. And as I say that, my tummy's rumbling with hunger. So I'm going to get on with this. Go make me tea. Ugh. Right. Let's split this into the suits. Now I'll take reversals here, but I probably won't here. Okay. Justice in the reverse. The Lovers. And Strength in the reverse. Okay. I'm going to take this as a kind of exploration of the idea that letting go and letting things flow in whatever direction they go, and letting go of the need to control things and to have things work out, like I said, the way we want them to and the way we think they should. We've got justice on the table here, and this is a kind of should. I'm getting a really strong should energy off of this. And should's a really interesting word. I mean, it's one of what's called in English, the group of verbs called modal auxiliaries. You've got these modal auxiliary verbs, and they're verbs like should, must, can, want to, have to, need to, all of those that show the mode, the kind of power transactional mode with which we carry out the action. And should is a really interesting one, because should can really be bled into from need. You say, I need to, no, and you think, well, do I really need to? Maybe I just feel like I should. And it's the same with must. You know, must often bleeds into should, or should bleeds into must, and can also, another modal auxiliary verb, also bleeds into should. It's very difficult when we've got like sort of flimsy boundaries, and I don't mean that in an insulting sense, but you know, just perhaps, yeah, I'll just be as technical as possible, like weak boundaries. It's really, really easy for us to think that because we can do something for somebody else, so then we kind of should. Very difficult to be clear and firm about all that. So there's this kind of should energy on the table here, and it's just this, but it's in the reverse. So obviously we're going to clarify here, but this first column, we're going to clarify all of them. This first column is sort of things as we see them. And it's like we're in a place here of feeling that things are not as they should be. Okay, simple as that. Here, this second column is like the hidden energy, the kind of the deeper strata of this whole thing. What we don't see, but what is nonetheless exerting some sort of, you know, affecting some sort of effect, some sort of consequence on the situation, or certainly sort of the way the wind blows, you know, like a subtle force acting upon things that we don't necessarily see, and that if we did see, might help us navigate things better. And in that position here, we've got the Lovers. And now I very rarely see this card as the card of relationships. You know, a lot of readers, when they get this card, they say, oh, you know, new relationship, there you go. There's like really strong energy for that. But it's not necessarily about that. Or perhaps I'm being a bit too harsh in sort of diminishing that interpretation of this card, because what this card is about really is about the sort of the unreasonableness of desiring what we desire. It is unreasonable. You can't like police it. I'm trying to get it nice and straight in the thing. You can't police it. You can sort of manage it in various ways, but you can't stop yourself wanting what or who you want. You can not act on it, and it will probably fade away in some sort of way. Depends how deep the love is. It depends. But I mean, this card used to be called the Choice. But I think it looks like the choice has already been made. It's already been made, or it very, very soon will be. Oh, I just not happy with my nails there. It very soon will be made, and you know, we can see what's coming here. Yeah, there's a paradigm shift from one phase of this young man's life to the next, and it's the next natural step, and it's natural because it feels natural, because it is powered by that desire, that you know, yeah, your heart's desire. It's the only card in the upright here. And like I say, it is unreasonable. You can't talk yourself out of it. You want what you want, what you want, and who you want, who you want, who you want. I mean, I know from experience, you know, there are certain people who have never left my heart. One or two. Some of them aren't even here with us anymore. So, you know, these things can go on. And there's, like I say, there's no explaining it. There's no reasoning with it, and there's no policing it. You cannot police desire. You cannot like outlaw it in this or that case. Even if it doesn't work for you, it is what it is, what it is. Why do you like it? Because I do. That's what this is. And here, this is like the bigger picture energy. This is like a beautiful potential, okay, in this third column, certainly in this reading. And what we've got here is strength in the reverse. So we've got perhaps a letting go, excuse me, a letting go of those jaws. Because that beast there that she has overcome by sheer strength and strength of will, that beast represents the kind of like guts of us, the sacral chakra and the root chakra, where all those sort of drives, those powerful, inexplicable drives are operating out of. And in the strength card, we see it getting hold of that and a taming of that. But I always think, certainly about this depiction of the strength card, is like, what is her next move? Because when she lets go of those jaws, she can't fucking stay there forever, especially though she's got bare feet. She get chilly. What's her next move? But it's in the reverse. And perhaps the move has been made. Perhaps in this situation, whatever's brought you to this love reading, the lion has been subdued and dealt with and kind of rendered benign in some way, even if it's just been locked up. I do hope it hasn't been killed. But it's done. It's done. The beast is no longer terrorizing the village or the town. Like Queenie here, look at that. And she's a queen, not a flipping crown. Too right. Overcoming it, and it looks like it's done. This is very, very beautiful. Let's dive, especially this. It's absolutely lovely. And this kind of permission here with strength in the reverse as the crowning card of this final outcome column that we will build with the minor arcana. It's like permission. You can let go. You can let go. But like I was saying about the unreasonableness of this, we've got the indescribable and inexplicable here, and we've got the like utterly fucking unreasonable, but quite nice here. Okay. But that unreasonable quality of whatever happens to us when that arrow finds its mark, because I guess that arrow is like coated with something that is going to get into the bloodstream, and you know, that's it. You know, it's like you can reason with it all you like, but it's still there once you know it. That unreasonableness really kind of needs to inform this sense of things not being as they should, because things just bloody are as they are. Let's dive into this a bit. Okay, 9 of Pentacles. Independence. And sort of comfortable and kind of well-boundaried independence. You know, good boundaries make good fences make good neighbors. And there's peaceful possession of one's own territory here. Let's very counterintuitive, but I did say I wasn't going to take reversals in this section, but this did come out in the upright. So I'm going to build on here. Ace of Wands. This is very, very positive. This is very positive. And I'm puzzled by that. Maybe these things are, you know, this feeling of well, this sense here of like personal wealth, basically. And, you know, the wealth represented by the Pentacles is not just financial wealth, it's energetic wealth. I nearly said, well, energetic Welsh. It's energetic wealth. We've got a lot to give, and we're good traders, and we've got like far vision. We've got really like bird's eye view of things, because we see that that hawk there currently hooded. There's beautiful, easy control here of one's own resources, one's own energetic resources, of which money is one. It's a pretty important one for us on the physical level. And here, there's like this spirit of can do here in the Ace of Wands. I might be wrong about this, but this is what I'm getting so far. I wonder whether these things are kind of compensatory for this feeling of things not being as they should be. I'm going to read on. Okay, right. I said I wasn't taking reversals. Wow, I said I wasn't going to make up my mind. That did come out in the reverse. Okay, I'm taking reversals. Excuse me. I'm getting off this. It's not even that like we don't know which way to look. We're just not flipping looking at anything. We're not looking at anything. There's a suspension of choice here, but it's in the reverse. Because this energy here, this Nine of Pentacles and this Ace of Wands, is so strong. It's so kind of firm in its foundation. And maybe it's a firmly set belief that things are not as they should be. But in order for that belief to be sustained, there's a lot riding on it. And I mean, the Two of Swords is a kind of suspension of judgment. It's a bit like, well, it's knowing that there are options. There is an option. This or that. And that each direction in which each of those swords is pointing will take you in a utterly alternative kind of unfolding from the other. But yeah, I'm getting this sort of, it has ever been thus. This is a kind of cover-up job. I mean, it's good, it's effective, but it's like I'm all right. I'm all right. Yeah, no, it's shit. It's not as it should be, but I'm good. And you know, it's just the way it is. There is no other way it can be. It's very sad. This is sort of quite bleak, this Two of Swords energy here. And we've sort of built a life around this this sense of injustice in the matter of love. We cannot see that it is any other way. And I wonder what it is that we cannot see is any other way. What aspect, and this is going to be like for what happens in the heart, because we're coming to the Cup card now. What is happening in the heart that that is kind of sacrificed in order for this very effective but bleak in terms of love. very effective but bleak kind of vehicle that we're in here, all predicated on a sense of, it's mild, you know, and we're not like usually bothered with it, but we're very used to it. And the trouble with sort of believing things to be a particular way is that we get confirmation bias. As I'm getting in the Two of Swords in the reverse. After a while, we only see, or we principally see, that which backs up our sense of the way things are. And when something, and I think this possibly sort of progresses a bit as we go through life, as we age, it gets harder and harder to sort of take in, you know, stuff that isn't already kind of, that doesn't already have some sort of like slot waiting for it inside us. And that, you know, there can be an awful lot we can miss because the sense of our capacity to expand our view, because we've invested a lot in this. We've built a life, but I think we've built a life sort of despite this. And I say built a life because we've got the Nine of Pentacles and the Ace of Wands here. You know, it's beautiful. The synergy between those two is wonderful, because it's this spirit of can do that builds those great fences and yields that great like pentacle harvest that she's got. But there's a cost to that. Let's see what it is in terms of the heart. Oh my God. Queen of Cups in the reverse. Oh, this is really heartbreaking, actually. You know, this is the mother, the Queen of Cups. Great mother. Like, I was going to say like the Empress, but that's the Queen of Pentacles more so. She's unparalleled. This is love, like directed at a particular object by the human heart. And it's that endless giving and giving and giving. Look, she's right on the edge of the land there. And beyond those cliffs is the ocean, and there is no limit to it. Her bounty is as boundless as the sea, her love as deep. Just quote a little bit of Shakespeare there. But it's in the reverse. So there's something sort of a little bit starved about this. I'm going to keep going because in this column here, the way this column has developed, I actually feel really sad now. So I will come back to her, but I'm going to carry on. I'll end up crying in my own reading. 10 of Pentacles. Well, there you go. When we acknowledge our heart's desire, and what I'm getting here now from this Queen of Cups in reverse here is that we have to cry the tears. We have to touch the grief. We have to go beyond those cliffs and kind of pour. This is a bit like the star. It's a bit like the star. I'm seeing this sort of endless pouring from the source into the source, from the source into the source. On the source. I'm not on the source yet, actually. I'll have a drink. We need to touch the grief, and doing that, but it takes such courage. It takes a lot of courage to allow ourselves to go into the grief, because it always feels like whatever it is that is at the root of this feeling of injustice here, it's about love, and it's about really kind of like not root chakra, because I don't really associate the root chakra with love. The root chakra is kind of reptilian. It's blood, bones, teeth, hair, pooing, peeing, digestion. It's all that kind of stuff. The mechanics, the flesh and the sinew. But it's in the sacral chakra where the early, down in the bottom of the abdomen, where the early model for love is set down. And when the grief, I mean, I'm not seeing this card as representing, this Queen of Cups in reverse, as representing grief, but it does represent an absence or a deficiency of love. All right, there, I've said it. It does. And that's why I got this sort of sense of it, of like starvedness off of this. And it's holding us in this kind of, it's a bit like a stuck record, and that's here in the Two of Swords. And we're okay, but it's still there. And look what happens when we when we expand past this. And we might be fearful to do that because we've got a lot invested here and we've built a lot. But there is something, this, we are not like, I'm not surprised in a sense we don't see engaging with this as a road to go down. So we just have to sort of stay blindfolded on the beach. This is the Two of Swords is the awareness that there is more than one way to think about something, and there is more than one way to express something. There are multiple ways. So we go from the Ace to the Two. And the blindfold is there because we don't know what the outcome will be of taking this route or that route. I don't know. I mean, maybe it's reversal is a kind of opening up into this, but it's sad. It is sad. But when we let go of the sense of there being something wrong here, injustice in the reverse here, we have to acknowledge that these matters are wild. They just are, and we can't stop them being wild by kind of clamping down on them, which is what we see happening here. We have to, because it doesn't matter how long we clamp down on it. I mean, clamping down on it can sort it for a while, but it is just its nature. That line is just following its flipping nature. It's when it comes into contact with us that we feel we've got to, I don't know, shoot a tranquilizer dart in it and lock it up. It's just following its nature. And by following our nature, our true nature and our heart's desire, we move. We go from this boundaried, singular energy of the Nine of Pentacles. It blossoms and flourishes out into the Ten of Pentacles, the multi-generational, multi kind of arm, the multi-armed god or goddess. I'm thinking of the Tibetan Buddhist deity Avalokiteshvara, or in Tibetan he's called Chenrezig. or yeah, that deity is called Chenrezig, with 1,000 arms to embrace 1,000 beings. And 1,000 is a kind of spiritual, kind of allegorical number, meaning lots and lots. There's a real abundance here. It's absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I mean, maybe I'm just wrong about this Queen of Cups here. Bye. No, maybe I'm just wrong. Maybe this is kind of the upshot of, because if we're always trying to sort of make things be the way we think they should be, because that was my first, as I said, this is a sense of things not being right. Doesn't make it true. It really doesn't. And, how can love flow? How can choices be made when we think it's sort of, I don't know, maybe it's our way or the highway here? Yeah, perhaps we're more invested, and I did speak about investment here, and perhaps we're more invested in the sense of having somehow been hard done by and like done over or cheated here, injustice in the reverse. Perhaps we're more invested in that than we are in actually allowing people and things to be what they are without trying to kind of make it go a certain way by sheer force of will. The abundance that comes from that, and the kind of thin gruel of love here in the Queen of Cups in the reverse. One of my favorite readers on here, it talks about the Queen of Cups in reverse being the desert queen, or sometimes the Queen of Cups in the upright as well. The desert queen, my desert queen, he says, that cup is full of sand, dry sand. But look what the alternative is. When we take our hand off the lever here, let's keep going. Okay, that came out in the reverse. Queen of Wands now. No one is in charge of how things work out. No one individual controls the structures that we build together in the world. What we build is built by cooperation and collaboration. Hold on a sec. Sorry, I just had to check something. Yeah, I was talking about collaboration and cooperation, and I thought about work, and I just had some messages from work I needed to look at. So this Queen of Wands in the reverse here is about the acknowledgement that it is not possible for any of us to run things and have things like manifest as we like flipping like command them to. Doesn't work like that. Doesn't work like that. And I just saw this wands with an eye, winds, the Queen of Winds, like just like the winds. I was looking at the 10 of Pentacles here, and like the things can just get blown away, No one's in charge, mate. No one's in charge when that happens. This is about letting go. But I think I'm going to come back to this thing about touching the grief. Because if you try to let go without sort of let go of like burdensome ways of seeing things, And it is burdensome. It is a burden on the soul to feel like things are fundamentally not as they should be. But you can't just make that go away. You can't just say, right, I'm going to let go of that. You can't do that effectively and like meaningfully and sort of over the long term unless you engage with the grief, unless you touch the grief. Anything that you've got like pushed to the back of the cupboard, that's a really poor analogy. Anything that you've got, it's like having a stowaway on your ship or some sort of like really heavy bit of cargo that everyone's forgotten about, like down in the bowels of the ship, and it's making the ship list in a particular way. You've got to go down there and like go through it and sort it out. And I mean, you know, it takes a lot of courage to admit that you're not in charge, solely in like sole charge of how things work out. It's not your domain. It's not in your purview to sort of control things to that extent. Because it's the winds, it's the winds of fate that control, and it is to a certain extent. It flipping well is. Right. Let's read on. Okay. Page of Swords in the reverse. He comes up in the reverse quite a lot for me. And I always like tear him off a strip for being such a ninny. There's something about here about harking back to like youthful, excuse me, youthful or adolescent ways of seeing things. And a sort of, oh God, it's really heavy, sort of fetishization of one's adolescent self or someone's adolescent self. You know, there's a certain immaturity to it, but that when we do that, when we sort of insist on and sort of make a virtue of holding on to certain aspects of the person we were when we were young. This page is always like really young energy. When we make a virtue of it, when we make a point of it, when it's part of the way we show up in the world, in terms of what we look like, maybe how we talk, some of our habits, some of our pastimes or whatever. It is a way of kind of, yeah, just basically keeping ourselves sort of young at heart. But there's also, well, I did use the word fetishization of it, but that might have been going a little bit too far. I don't know. What do you think? Drop a comment. I don't know, but this is something to do with the maintenance of immature, but sort of delightful and refreshing. And like, oh, fuck it. This is something to do with that energy showing up here in this undertow. But I mean, so far, perhaps it's something that can be let go. Perhaps this needs to be let go as well. I mean, by acknowledging the simple truth of one's heart's desire here, we release ourselves from this. But you see, the thing is, and the reason it's hard is, or one of the reasons it's hard, is because in embracing our heart's desire and letting go of trying to control the outcome of things here in the Queen of Wands in the reverse here, and understanding that things can sort of like come and go, This is a bit like the death card, the major arcana death card here. We also have to acknowledge and accept and, open up to the truth that that is how it is for everybody else too. It's not just us. And then it becomes really free flowing and dynamic if we can really take that on board and really respect the fact. And I'll go back to it, what I was talking about at the beginning, that just like we are always looking for a way to be happy and for ways to be happier, however, like half-cocked our notions of what that might constitute for us might happen to be, we're all moving in that direction. I'm going to get the cup card here. And that means we have to respect other people's actions as well as basically being motivated by the same thing that motivates our own. Page of Cups in the upright, there it is, you see. That is the gift of the fish of compassion. And I just suddenly thought his headgear looks a bit like some bloody great, like, gloober fish or something, doesn't it? I don't even know what a gloober fish is, but it's one of those big, like the toad of the sea that just like kind of smooches around on the bed of the sea, like sucking shit up, all like glooby, the gloober fish. But that one in the cup, it's a bit like Christian symbolism, isn't it? The fish, it's beautiful. That's the fish of compassion, and it's fresh, and it's alive. It's alive, and it's really simple. It's really, really simple, but incredibly difficult to actually enact in our day-to-day lives. But it is really, really simple. Everybody is on the same quest. That's it. That's all anybody needs to know about compassion. And to really, really embrace the truth of that and the implications for what it means in terms of how we see the actions of others. That simple gift of the respect of compassion in the Padma fish. Padma's fishes to start adopting some Vedic language. Padma, the lotus of compassion that blooms out of the mud. Right. Strength in the reverse. This is all about control will never do it for us. Trying to control things is never going to get this Justice card from the reverse into the upright. So let's see what the big picture is. Okay, we've got Page of Pentacles in the reverse. Page of Wands in the reverse. Got all the pages out now. Five of Swords in the reverse. And Three of Cups in the reverse. We have to be prepared to let certain things go, certain connections. In fact, I would say that in order for connections, and this is what we see here, beautiful connections of equals, celebratory kind of collaboration in life, and sort of wider love, wider than love for self and love for one other. This is where we widen it out. The quality of all those connections suffers when we don't acknowledge that they will at some point end. If that doesn't sound too sort of I don't know what. Okay, I'm not going to apologize for it. Everything will end. And when things are kind of, and we all know that deep down, we all know that. When we can't accept that, we stifle spontaneous and freely given love and connection. We stifle it because we're trying to fucking hold on to it. And here I see this wonderful energy of the Ace of Wands here, but this is about holding on as well. Holding on fucking tight to that wand. It's too fucking tight, mate. It's too tight. And it stifles it. It kind of kills it. When people feel obliged, they don't fucking want to do it anymore, you know? Bottom line, got to let people be what they are and want what they want. And sorry, I was just really trying to work out what that was. The ending of attempts to engineer a particular outcome by judicious and somewhat prepared acts of thought and speech. And I mean, you know, it's good not just to like shout our mouths off about things, but this kind of covert action here is not this is not predicated on a wish to act and speak carefully for the benefit of anyone. Well, this is for the benefit of no one but the dude there, like gathering up those swords. You know, this is kind of sneaky thinking about how to come across in a particular way. And, you know, like I say, it is good to think before we speak, but it all depends what our motivation is. And if we're thinking before we speak in order to bring about a certain, you know, beneficial, useful for us outcome, then I don't know. This is always sort of like over egging it somehow, but in a covert way, in order to make things look a particular way. And it's the covert aspect of this that is like really sad. But it's in the reverse. It's in the reverse. So we've got, yeah, this is sort of strategic manipulation energy in the Five of Swords, but it's all of these beautiful little messages here have come out in the reverse. We've got strength in the reverse, taking our hands out of the jaw of the lion and letting the lion be the lion. You know, we've got to deal with it in some other way. You can't just clamp down on those sort of deeper aspects of the self in order to just sort of keep control of everything. Okay. When we do this inappropriately, right, because other people are not the lion. The lion does not represent other people. The lion and sort of in all their wildness, you know, like the other country, the ever kind of other of other people, That's not what the lion is. The lion is us. It's us. It's our own selves. It's that deeper, you know, perhaps a bit like scary stuff deeper down. And this series of pages here, the fact that they're both in the reverse, it's what the image I'm getting here is about something being reduced and reduced and reduced and reduced and reduced in size. The kind of, it's pinched, but it's not, it doesn't feel like a negative thing. It doesn't feel like something like bearing in and like constricting. This is like sort of shedding excess weight, or like having a declutter or something through this. And I mean a mental, you know, or whatever, you know, perhaps a material one in your house or something. But this is, it clears it. There's a clearing out of energy here, and a kind of letting these winds that blow around us, just letting them, you know, understanding that other people are sort of part of our energetic wind, you know, the acts and the speech acts and the physical acts and the transactions here in the Pentacles of other people are part of what shapes our lives, and the same goes for us as regards them. I'm just seeing this amazing message of freedom on the table here, and a letting go again of trying to control how we connect, or how other people connect with us, or just what those connections are, and trying to hold on to them, trying to make them, trying to hold on to them, trying to sort of manifest it. No. Page of Wands in the reverse. Like, there's a sort of don't even bother sort of energy about that today, because, you know, no one runs this show. No one person runs what happens between two people. Yeah, how much more bloody clear can I be? Let's clarify here. High Priestess. Yeah, well, she knows. All right. She knows. She knows flipping everything, mate. She wrote the book. And I was thinking when I was talking about the Queen of Cups here, and I said it's a bit like the Star card, or it's like the Star card rather than like the Empress. And the High Priestess did come into my mind at that point. This is the knowing, the knowing. And this High Priestess connects with this Queen of Cups in the reverse here. And the thing is, if we didn't somewhere inside us know about this dearth of like emotional wealth here, and flow, this like blockage of the flow of emotion, if we didn't know about that somewhere, it wouldn't even be scary. We can't fear something we have never thought of. Okay, we only fear what exists inside us as a thought object or a feeling, a kind of emotional object. That's what we fear. We can't fear what we have no idea is there. And this is having an idea that it's there, the High Priestess. We know what this means to us. And it's keeping us stuck in this place of feeling like we are owed some compensation, basically. And it always was that way, and it always will be that way. That's where we're stuck. And the whole kind of invitation of this reading is to let go. But as I said, you know, letting go is effective and meaningful when we have done the emotional work, right? Temperance, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Look at that. Oh man, that's so lovely. Well, there in Major Arcana form is your writing of this, writing this reversal here. And this equality of motivation. So that even the most appalling things that people do, they do them because they want to. And even if people are doing things because they feel compelled to, they're doing it because they don't want to engage with the consequence of not doing what they are being compelled and forced to do. So, you know, it's always that. And that's what's on the tip of that arrow. And the same, it is true of this side and this side. And there is this constant flow from one to the other. And there isn't a kind of number one cup and number two cup. One angel, two cups. Neither of those cups is more important than the other one. And when we really, really, really embrace that, and look, these irises here, beautiful flowers here, a bit like the Padme. When we really, really embrace that, there is a whole new beginning on the other side of that mountain. Whole new beginning. Absolutely beautiful. And a whole new beginning sort of based in genuine stability, not kind of ad hoc stability that is built on disappointment after disappointment after disappointment. Because we can only be disappointed when we're expecting a particular outcome and we don't get it. It's terrible. I mean, disappointment really is about, I don't know. I mean, often when I feel disappointed about an outcome, I feel sort of foolish as well as disappointed. It's like, well, why did I think that it would go the way I wanted it to go? It's like foolishness. If we don't have a particular outcome in our mind that we have invested our heart into, then we can never be disappointed. I'll move on. Final cards, sum it up. Yeah, look, Hermit in reverse. Engaging with the equality of motivation of all sentient beings. Kind of regularizes this relationship between essentially the ego and the id here. That's basically what it is, the ego and the id. It regularizes it, and it allows us to come out of the cave and look up from that singular light. I mean, I'm not being funny, but he could, if he had a limp and he's following that light, he could just end up going round in circles, couldn't he? Right. I'm going to leave you with that. Thank you so much for watching, dear viewer, dear listener. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope it wasn't as grim as it usually is, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.